Welcome everyone to another thrilling round of the absolute best sim racing series on the planet, SRF Weekend Warriors, presented by RaceVoice live on Apex Racing TV. I am your host, Jim Hodson. Joining me on commentary today is a titan on the microphone, Jack Cannon. Thank you so much for being here. And of course, in the production bunker is Jonathan Grabowski, known to his many admirers as Johnny Grabs. Today we come to you from the virtual representation of Brands Hatch, and we're running the full layout, not the kidney bean. I do not like the kidney bean. We've got drafting opportunities today. We've got the critical but tricky hairpin at Druids, but most of all, I have no doubt, Jack, that we will see more than one driver get caught out by Paddock Bend. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. I love Brands Hatch. It's such a great circuit. I mean, you've got the ups and downs. You've got Paddock Hill dropping down up into Druids, then back down again. It's going to be a real challenge for these cars in these spec forward races. There's plenty of drafting as well in the second sector, thankfully, with the GP layout. So looking forward to it. Yeah, the kidney bean is good for the skip barbers, but I think the spec forward races will go well around the GP layout for sure.
Yeah, we're going to have a great day. As you can see, practice is just about half over now. It is winding down, and we will get ourselves started with some racing. I just want to say thank you so much quickly to our sponsor, RaceVoice. Without these guys, we could not do this. I just appreciate their efforts so much because I absolutely love this series, as you can probably tell. RaceVoice is proud to be the exclusive sponsor of the Weekend Warriors Spec Racer Ford Racing Series. Take your driving to the next level with on-track audible performance alerts with RaceVoice and RaceVoiceSIM. You can hear stuff like miles per hour, turn entry and exit speeds, upshift alerts, and other performance metrics which are selected and configured by you. Go faster with the speed of voice. And plus, Weekend Warriors get 50% off annual sim pricing using the promo code WW50. So check them out at www.racevoice.com. Thank you again so much, you guys. Now we're looking here at Van Dormelen pounding his way around the track in the number 20 car. I sure hope that we get sort of a clean lap one. Now, Jack, as you know, these guys are we have a high strength of field in this race. These guys are all very good and clean drivers, not to mention they are friends. This is a fun series where everybody knows one another, but especially on cold tires, Paddock Bend can be a real sticky wicket, as they say.
That's a good way to put it, I think. It's a very, very tricky corner. When you're coming down there on cold tires, it's basically a blind entry into a downhill corner with gravel on either side. So there is plenty that can go wrong in the first lap on those tires. But I'm sure these guys can negotiate it pretty well. As you mentioned, the strength of field, roughly about, I think we were loading about 3,300 is the strength of field right here. We've got some guys in the region of 6 to 7k I rating, which is very, very competitively high. So we've got some really fast guys in here mixed in with I'll say the average guy like me mixed in there too. So that's going to be good. I mean, Brands Hatch is narrow, that's for sure, but because these cars aren't too wide, I mean, it's going to be great racing, I feel, when we get through those first laps. But just hopefully, fingers crossed, if we get through Paddock Hill Bend and Druids cleanly on the first lap, I think we're in for a great rest of the race. But it is very treacherous on cold tires. You are right.
No question about that. So we've got just a minute or two left. Now, if you are familiar with my presentation of this series, normally I like to read off everybody's name on the grid during the formation lap, just so that everybody gets gets their name read out. I just appreciate that. But it has been suggested to me by the production team that I not do that anymore because it's just too many people. So we do love how big this grid is, but I will get to everybody. I'm going to try. Anyway, Jack, you'll keep me honest on that, I'm sure.
I'll do my best, yeah. But there's a lot of people on this grid, so I'm not going to hold it against you if it doesn't quite work. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty to go through. There's a very there's a lots of cars on this grid, and for a track as narrow as Brands Hatch, that can be treacherous. But thankfully, we are using the full international layout, so it should be a little bit easier to get everyone spread out after the first lap or two. If we were running the national layout, where we cut off after turn number 3 and 4, that'd be a little bit more treacherous, and if we with drivers coming up to lap each other within about 2 laps. So thankfully we're not doing that, but we're coming up to the end of practice, then a 40-minute race on its way. I had a look back as well at the finish at Hockenheim not too long ago. Hopefully we get more of that today.
Yeah, well, a pleasure to see. I believe I saw Florence Arabian on the grid today, so nice to have him back. We have, looks like we have most of our sort of heavy hitters, although, as we say, everybody on the field, everybody on the grid. A very good driver. Looking here at Arabian's car, he's running the same livery as Gasper's. They are on an endurance team together called the Winter Schnitzels. So they run the same livery. It does make it a little bit confusing. But we should be looking at our grid here shortly. And there indeed it is. What a shock to see Hugh Haycox on pole. Congratulations to you, sir. That is Haycox the younger, and he's got Austin Winter for company. Then on row 2, it is Florence Arabian, joined by Simon Mayer. Great. Wow, what qualifying. Some real shakeups and surprises in qualifying today. And they're followed by Josh Arnold and Bobby West on row 3. Going back to Tim Van Dormelen and Nico Shook in P7 and 8. Followed by Dominic Bureau and Michael Dobeck in 9th and 10th. The grid follows. Again, I've been asked not to try to speed read everybody's names, but we will get to you, everybody. Fear not. So we should have a quick... Sorry, it looks like we're going to get a full formation lap, just judging by the fact that they are sitting on the grid there. So perhaps we'll have a moment to get to the standings. Now, last week's points were did not count for the series, so we'll look at series points here in just a minute, but they'll be without any developments from last week.
Yeah, it looks like a full formation lap indeed. So it's a short enough lap round here, so it's not going to be like I've had experience in the past of a full formation lap at Spa. That is not fun. Not fun at all. I don't know who decided that, but thankfully Brands Hatch is about maybe 2 minutes of a formation lap, so it gives the drivers a chance at the very least. Heat in the tires, get some heat. More importantly, get some heat in the brakes for Paddock Hill, because you do not realize how fast it comes up on you until you arrive at it, and you can very easily misjudge your braking points on the first lap. So let's hope that everyone gets through nice and cleanly, but it will be Haycox who gets to decide the pace at least. He can control when he goes, when he decides to go. So hopefully we get a clean start into Paddock Hill. But I think it's going to be a good fight. It's teed up very nicely with the amount of drivers we've got around here. And of course, we've got to take into account the pit stop strategies as well. That's going to be, I think, pretty crucial around here, because you don't want to take your pit stop at the wrong time, because it's very likely that you'll end up in traffic.
Yeah. Luckily, we do have the fast repair, so if anybody gets into the ARM code, they'll be able to take that fast repair. I would not be at all surprised to see 1 or 2 people do that, but yeah, pit strategy will be key, as it always is in these races, and Austin Winter, the man in the number 33 machine, just there running in P2, is very good. He often wins thanks to his pit strategy. So we'll see. Although, you know, Jack, you haven't been around for previously, so you're not as shocked as I am to see Haycox there on the pole position in qualifying. Just so surprised and happy for him. We've got some great shakeups there in the top 10. Some guys that you don't, very good drivers, but you don't normally see there at the front of the field.
Yeah, it's always nice to see a shake-up. Of course, yeah, this is my first round of the series, about halfway through, so I'll get to know the drivers eventually, but if it's a surprise, I shall certainly take your word for it. Maybe we'll get a surprise winner on top of that as well. Pace car is off, getting ready to go.
Yep, here we go, and we will soon cross that paddock bend. Haycox leads them out, followed by Winter and Arabian. We'll be crossing the finish line shortly. There we go. Green flag is waving. Haycox moves left in order to give himself as much room as possible to go through paddock bend, and I think there was a little bit of a slide there, Jack, unless I'm mistaken. Haycox manages to keep it in the road, and is placed well for Druids. Looks like he's driving a little bit defensively there from Winner, and looks like he's got himself a little bit of a gap. Winner, of course, a Titan on the track in this series. Winner with Arabian all over his rear deck lid.
Yeah, clean start from everybody as well, which is what we want to see. A bit of gravel getting kicked up through Paddock Hill, but no, Haycock's got away well there, and now we're on board with Winner Arabian. Nicely on his tail there as they come up the hill for the first time, down the back straight. And now we'll see the drafts come into effect right now. You've got to be really tucked in nicely to get a good run into these next right-handers. It is a good overtaking opportunity if you are alongside before you get to the braking zone. You've got to be brave to go on the brakes in these cars up the inside, so no way through for everybody just in line astern, and they come through the second right-hander for the first time. But already kind of a four-car pack starting to form up at the front with Haycock's Winner, Arabian and Arnold already starting to maybe form a breakaway train as Meyer falls a little ways back. But we have everybody at least in the top 10. We've got one car going slightly adrift into that right-hander into Sheen curve, but he manages to get through, I believe. That was the car in front right there. But four-car train out front, breaking away from the cars behind, and already, well, we have our own packs forming up throughout the field. We've got this little pack of four, we got then the lead pack of four, but after lap number one, it was clean for our leaders, and Haycock's Winner, Arabian and Arnold are clear away in their own group.
I believe I might have seen that was Shook and Haycock's who got a little bit out of shape there on the backside of the track, but never mind, we are running well nevertheless. It is very easy to go off there, particularly if you get sort of a little bit too much mustard in your veins as you're going through that part of the track. But this right here where we are just about to, we're looking rearward from Arabian's car here at the car of Arnold, number 36 machine. But right here on the track, momentum is so key, isn't it, Jack? And it's so hard to judge because you need that momentum to get up this hill so that you get a good run. But it is very easy to go off here as well if you don't brake enough.
Yeah, exactly. Spot on. Momentum, very, very important, because these cars don't have a lot of power, so that it requires quite a lot of momentum. You don't want to be in the wrong gear going into certain corners as well, because you just won't get the drive out of the corners. So you've really got to find that margin, that perfect margin between not going off the road into the gravel. There's a big slide from Meyer in front of the field. Has he collected anybody? I don't think he has. He's going to collect another car as well. Big stack up in the back of the circuit. Just went a little bit wayward on the entry right there and speared back into the path of another car, and unfortunately he's got damage. One car that got on the brakes had to get on the grass trying to avoid him and collected him. So Meyer, unfortunately, that car has definitely seen better days. He's going to have to limp back to pit lane, but thankfully he does have a faster pair, so you can see, big impact on the front end of the car right there. Couldn't quite see who collected him there, but not a nice place to go off. It's a very fast part of the circuit, and he's going to have to limp back to pit lane with damage.
Yep, well, we can't say it was unexpected, but, all things considered, pretty clean from these guys. Again, they are all pals, and if anybody has a history of getting a little bit too mustardy on track, they soon get asked to chill it out. So if anybody has an accident, just saying, if you're a viewer, they do keep it pretty clean on track. Looking here at Shook, who is all over the rear of McGill, and Perry looking to see if he can make something happen on Shook as well. But yeah, we are starting to string it out just a little bit. Shook taking a little bit more of an inside line as compared with McGill. I just have so much trouble in this car with that sort of area of the track, and Shook will now overtake. This is exactly what you predicted, isn't it, Jack?
Absolutely, yeah. You got to be alongside to make a move into those right-handers, and Shook certainly was. Drafted his way through and moves up to 9th place ahead of Jim McGill. But McGill's now under severe pressure. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars in that train, and Perry fancies to go past McGill as well. So it is kind of that you don't really want to be the lead car in this situation, because you are going to fall victim to the draft. Once again, you've got nobody punching the air in front of you, because you've got Dormelin is about maybe 4 to 5 seconds clear out front. There's nobody punching a hole in the air for you, so he's going to actually lose out maybe again to to McGill down towards Paddock Hill. And you can see already he's pulling alongside inside line from McGill to take him the position back. And as well, Perry's going to go up the inside into Paddock Hill Bend. It's almost like the Tour de France, swapping positions all the way through. And just as soon as that's the reason you don't want to be at the head of the train, because you do not have the draft.
Well, if you want to talk about professional cycling, I am certainly your man. I do love it. Oh, no, there's a wreck at Druids. I think I saw Bohm's car spun around. Yep, looks like something happened to Bohm there. Don't know if he lost the rear himself or if he got a little help. Either are equally as likely. Let's see. We got into the rear of Manny's car, did Bohm, and then maybe got a little tap in the rear as well. I think that we're going to have to call that racing incident, aren't we?
Yeah, seems likely. Unfortunately, just unfortunate. Drews is just like that in the way. There's a bit of swap gun going on at the head of the field right there. Somehow Haycox has ended up back down in fourth, and then again proving my point. You don't want to be at the head of the train because you'll lose out in the draft. So it is Austin Winner to the front of the train. It's Arabian to second, Arnold's to third. Haycox shuffled back down to fourth, but of course there's still plenty of time left in this race, but it is Austin Winner at the front of the train right now. But I'm sure Haycox will come back at some point. He's got a chance now to sit in the draft and at least get himself past Arnold once again. Let's have a look on board now as we go down towards Paddock Hill Bend. You'll see the draft take effect on the way through. You can see as soon as he shifts up the gear, he gets pulled a little bit closer, and Arnold a little bit early on the brakes compared to him. And Haycox having to check up a little bit there, but keeping it nice and clean through Paddock Hill Bend, up the hill, up Pilgrim's Rise into Druids, little look to the inside, but using all of that curb as well on the exit, going to drift out tad wide, but gets it back together as we stay on board with Hugh Haycox right here. But this is a great shot because this is how close they are for the whole race long. They've got 3.5 seconds back to the next car, and it's all a game of patience and waiting for your opponent to just miss a gear shift, and that'll be it. And there's a perfect opportunity because Arnold went a little bit wide on the exit of the left-hander, going to drag himself down towards the right-hander, and again we might see a swap for the lead at the same time. Arabian fancies a go on Winner. They go 2 by 2 down the hill. It'll be Arabian taking the lead into the right-hander, and as well Haycock shuffles himself up to third place. Austin Winner with a run on the way out of the right-hander at the same time, goes back to the inside into the braking zone, in the 33, retakes it, and now Haycox has an opportunity down the hill, so they're going to swap left, right and centre here in SRF. It's Haycox to the inside of Arabian into Sheed Curve. He swaps him up to second. That's 2 places in a couple of corners, but still Austin Winner lives to fight another day. But this is why we love Brands Hatch.
Indeed, and why I say this is the best series on the service, no question about it. Jack, I think you're starting to see what I like so much about it. We're looking rearward here from Haycock's car at Arabian. I think there might have been just a touch of bump draft there, unless I missed my guess. Winner now has a little bit of a gap, but Haycock's not letting himself be down and out in fourth, was he? That was the best. I just love that little series there with 2 passes going on at the same time. It was like synchronized swimming.
Yep, that was definitely a bump draft as they get a little bit of a move going on here as Haycox goes for the move into Druids on Winner. Now he holds that inside line, the karting line. That's the line you want through Druids. And Arabian, he's going to get the run out of Druids at the same time as well, and he slots into second place now, but a Winner will come back up the inside, and Arnold's now is going to go try and shuffle himself forward as well at the same time. So up towards the left-hander they go. Haycox with a small gap now because of that small scrap, and Winner now slots back to second. It'll be Arabian into third, Arnold into fourth, and as these guys continue to fight, you're going to have West and Dolbeck and all those guys closing in slowly but surely. So there they are in their train. You've got Michael Dolbeck, you've got Bureau, Dormelin, Perry, and a few others who are in their own fight as well, but they're closing in. So Bobby West is not too far off the back, and about 1.5 seconds off that train in front. So if these guys don't fight, they can kind of work together, get themselves up to the back of that train. There's the 42 going a bit wide into the right-hander, and he has to back out of it. It was a very, very close moment between Michael Dolbeck and Bureau as they came to the right-hander. It just went a little bit deep on the brakes, but he collects it back together, and they carry on unscathed. But they are beginning to chip away at the gap in front, and they could very well become a factor later on in this one. But there's also this big old train, which we've had a look at earlier on, this 7-car train now being led by Jason Perry.
You know, I think West might have the steam to close that gap up to Arnold and join the leaders. We will see. But as you say, Perry leading this group from McGill. from Hraski. That must be Hraski the Elder, as Hraski the Younger is higher up in the field. And it looks like McGill and Hraski are going at it here. Kamara just behind. Tough to pass heading into Paddock Bend, but these guys are making it happen. We haven't seen any, real major incidents, have we, heading into Hraski here, making a little move on the inside of Druids. Now, quickly, I just want to get to the series points. Again, last week's race, before I forget about him, basically, I'm so, Jack, I'm just getting so wound up about the race we have in front of us, but I want to give some context. So if we could just look at the Spec 1 points, you can see that Austin Winner leads Spec 1, followed by Bertoni and West. So West, we just mentioned a moment ago, is trying to get himself up to the leaders. We just saw him on the right side of your picture there. We will see him again shortly. He'll come on screen now. There he is in the rear. And in Spec 2, it is Mayer, followed by Gibson and Pereira. I haven't seen Pereira. Oh, he is on the grid today, so Pereira is out there. So there is Mayer leading Spec 2 standings for the series. And the Masters, of course, led by Kenneth Batley. Don't know if he's on the grid today or not. Batley? He may very well be, but anyway, it's Batley followed by Shaw and, of course, our series organizer, Steve Ray. Thank you so much for all your hard work, Stevie Ray, making this series happen. Now, quickly, while we're on the subject, the lead change again. So Haycock's followed by Winner, followed by Arabian and Arnold. It looks like leading Spec 2. Spec 2, of course, is cars whose numbers are over 200. And Kamara is pitting for some reason. I'm not sure why. Anyway, cars in Spec 2 leading by Shook, led by Shook. I've forgotten how to talk, Jack. I do apologize. And in second place,
that was a little bit sketchy on the way up to Druids right there. Two cars running onto the grass, and that's going to be... That's McGill, I think, off in the gravel at Druids. I saw two cars go off wide, come back onto the circuit, very, very sketchy. And unfortunately, McGill ends up in the gravel at Druids. Might see if we can have a look at that again. You can see them there getting all out of shape. Jim McGill then just loses it on the way in and backwards into the gravel at Druids, and a little tap of the wall for good measure. But that was a bit of a scary one, losing it on the rear brakes on the way in. But now, that's allowed Jörg Mani to close himself into this battle as well. So he now goes to the front of this train, followed by Hraski and Haycock's Rice. Shook Pereira's in there now. You just mentioned him. He's in that train. And Fritscher's also in there too. So a big train for 10th place overall in this race. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars. This is now being made up of, and Manny, unfortunately, does not have the benefit of a draft in front of him, but he is slightly closing up to Perry in front of him, so he might get a distant drop, but it won't be much.
And that is the Singing Scotsman Makarivi, followed by Murakami on the very end of this train. And then we go back to Bohm, who we just saw have an incident in Druids. Just wanted to give some update on the Spec 2 standings. I was doing that just as McGill was having his incident there. Hraski and Race taking their pit stops now, it looks like, as are McGill, Elson. McGill will probably be taking a faster pair. But anyway, Spec 2, dang it, I can't get to it. Led by Shook. And in P2 of Spec 2, looks like it's Mizarek, followed by Mayer, running in 20th and 21st, unless I'm mistaken. And the Masters, currently led by Murakami. He's got that number over 900. Currently running in 16th overall. And I believe, not sure who are second and third. Tough to see. Let's see, Wilson is running in 38th. Not sure. But here's a change for the lead. Winner will get by Haycock's, followed by Arabian and Arnold. That lead pack of 4. It looks to me like Arnold is starting to get a little bit distance, Jack. Well, there he is. He's caught it all up merely by driving off the circuit.
Yeah, sometimes there's more grip on the grass if you do it right. So Arnold actually nearly bumped, drops into the back of Arabian, bit of a slide on the way through. He gets sideways. He hang on to it in the 36. He does hang on to it in the 36 indeed. That would have been Brown Chargers moment for
Absolutely.
Josh Arnold. but sorts it all out and carries on as if nothing happened in the 36. So he's going to get himself back up to the back of this train now. But that will allow now Haycock's firmly in the draft of winner as well. Dobek's now leading in front of Dormelin and West. So that's become now a 3-car fight. That was about a 7-car fight. It's now become a 3-car. As they come down the the front straight. Once again, there's Ian Haycock chasing after Jörg Mani. Shuck's in behind him. Then you have Pereira just behind, and Fritcher, Makarivi and Murakami are in that one. Few pit stops starting to come through now. Pit window is open, so we're going to see some guys start to make some early pit stops to try and undercut some of the guys in front if they can. But these guys continuing to just run in the draft of each other and settle down into it a little bit more. 15 minutes into this race, approaching 16 minutes gone in this race, and it's been basically non-stop the whole way through. It's what we like.
Absolutely. Just want to say quickly, welcome. I'm not sure if we've seen you on the grid before. Jurnej Zorek, currently running in 24th overall, the number 82 machine. I think you might be new to the series, which means you are driver of the day. It's not a real thing. We're just glad to have new folks. So thank you for joining us. Hope you're having a good time out there. Running in 24th overall.
Yeah, well, not doing a bad job. Sorry to cut across the I've just noticed that Doherty's car seems to have an added aero device on the back from damage on the back of that car. There's a large bit just sticking up. There it is. On the left-hand side. Now that's for a little bit of extra downforce of the left-hand side of the car. That would have been tactically done, I would assume, from Doherty on that car. You can see it perfectly from the car of Johan Boateng. Don't know if that was intentional or not, but it seems like those cheeky air devices they put on the F1 in the 90s. So let's see if it works out well for him.
It does look a bit like that, and it's distorted his left-hand Scottish flag. Luckily, he's got the right-hand Scottish flag, as just to keep the pride going. Oh dear, so Winner once again on the outside here, and Winner I think is going to drop back to third behind Arabian and Haycox. Mayer again getting distance off there. You know, when we saw him have that incident just a moment ago on the backside of the course, it was particularly terrifying, Jack, because it just looked like he was going to slide into the train of the rest of the leaders. So glad he was able to get that under control. But rare in this series, Jack, just to let you know, rare to see Winner. Number one, it's rare to see him having to fight for the lead. But to see him running in third, very rare indeed. He's normally, he's a little bit like our Lewis Hamilton in a way. He's very often on the front, very often far out in front. So really great to see him having to mix it up today.
Yeah, it's how he's having to work hard today versus Haycox and Arabian. Yeah, Arnold's been dropped a little bit now from the back of this train. Maybe he's just backed off a little bit, hoping that these guys have an incident in front of him so he can pick it up. But it is Haycox who leads after this. But if you lead for a lap, that seems to be quite a long time in this race today. Into the last corner they come again to begin their 12th lap around Brands Hatch. Arabian with a good run out of the last corner right now down towards Paddock Hill. They will come once again, tucking into the draft of the car in front. The 34, where does he go? Number 2 goes to the outside line. Brave stuff to go around the outside of Paddock Hill, but I don't think he's going to find the room. He'll try and get a switch back underneath for Druids, and that might be textbook there. He does get alongside, up Pilgrim's Rise, into Druids on the brakes. Arabian will have a look on the inside of Haycox. They go side by side through Druids on the power on the way out. It's Arabian to the lead right now in the number 2 car, and he teed that up beautifully into Paddock Hill Bend, went for a wide line, cut back underneath them, and Haycox now has to work to try and get by him.
It is, as they say, how it's done, and I believe these drivers are very shortly going to be meeting up with some back markers, so that will certainly throw a wrench into the works, and a wrench in the works for Paolo Breme here. I think he had a little bit of an issue coming down Paddock Bend, and he's going to have a look at the inside. A little bit scary there, Breme. The number 555 machine. He's just looking at the inside of Lewis's car, but I think he's going to have to stay where he is for the moment. Nicely done, Bremy. Looking here at Manny, followed by Haycox. That is Haycox the Elder, and Pereira, Jean Pereira. Pereira, no stranger to the wins in Spec 2, and currently leading Spec 2 as well, so it could be another win for him today. Makarivi and Murakami in the rear of your screen there. Look like they're sort of running races all by themselves. Was that Manny off? Many have an issue.
Yeah, in exactly the same spot as we saw the crash earlier on. Lost it on the way through. Fortunately, he drops down now. He's going to drop down behind. Go to see what happened to him as they came into the right-hander. I think he just dropped it by himself as he came in. Hit that curb, went onto the gravel right there, and that unsettled the car. Oh, that was close with the 35 behind, but thankfully they managed to come through unscathed. He gets back going again. That's the main thing for Jörg Mani, but he drops down behind Pereira now. But still, at the front, it's Arabian in front of Haycock's winner, actually maybe falling back a little bit, but he might have just been backing off to watch these guys, and Ireland's getting a little bit closer. But now it gets a little bit more interesting because now they're starting to catch some lap traffic.
Yes, that was amazing for Manny to lose the rear of the car like that and knock a single. He didn't lose a single flake of gold off his car. Oh, but as I say, yes, and as you said, indeed, Jack, we're just about to start catching some lap traffic, so that will mean that these drivers not only have to deal with one another. Haycock is going to put himself into the lead here. That pass, the very pass you described before the race got started, we've seen it a couple of times, haven't we? And I think Arabian's going to come back at him.
Yes, he is. He got the cutback line the way through. The car spinning in the same place as Mane. They're going to avoid it, thankfully. Winner's going to come through on the inside of Haycock's as well into Sheen Curve. Up and over the curb they go. So Arnold's now all of a sudden back into it as they fight it out for position now. But there's two moves right there. There's the move I talked about, drafting down to the right-hander, but there's also backing out of it and getting the cutback line, which is exactly what they've managed to also do. But you can see now, you've got Arabian back to the lead. Winner's now second. Haycock's in third. Arnold dragged back into it in that 36 car behind. They managed to get past the lap traffic all unscathed. But now it becomes even more interesting now because we're going to get into the pit window for these guys as well. They've only got a certain amount of fuel in the car, so it is going to be a case of who comes out of the draft first, who dives into pit lane first to try and get the undercut on everybody else. But pit strategy is going to be mega crucial just because of how close they are tonight.
Well, you are absolutely right, and that being the case, I suspect we're going to see Winner doing very strongly toward the end of this race. He is very good with pit strategy. And Jack, I got to tell you, I've interviewed him about it a time or two and tried to get him to sort of reveal his secret, but he's so laid back and modest about it. He's just like, yeah, I just kind of feel it and see what happens, and it came out great, and so he I don't know if he's employing he's got a wizard standing beside him doing some incantations while he's racing. I don't think he's using any software. I think he's telling us exactly what's happening. I think he's just feeling it.
Yeah, some drivers have that innate talent to know what's going on at all times in their car, and some of us, like me, have no idea what they're doing. So it makes me feel a little bit sad about myself that drivers were able to do that. But nonetheless, he's having to work for it tonight. He's going to have to put those pit strategy skills to work in the 33 this evening. So nobody peeling into pit lane just yet. Actually, right on cue, Haycock is the man who dives out of the train first. So from the third place driver, he peels in to put fuel in his car. So interested to see now where he comes out in the rest of the field, because there's a lot of traffic, so it'll be a splash and dash to get himself enough fuel to get across the start-finish line. So there goes Bureau, Dobek and Dormalen, and they file through. They'll be pitting very shortly, I would imagine, as well. But this is a very crucial pit stop. So Haycock's on his way out of the pit lane right now. He's going to come out just behind Sadro, probably behind Shook as well. No, it's a lap car, so he's actually got some clean air. That's exactly what he needs to try and chase after these guys. If that pit stop was any longer, he would have dropped into that train you could see behind of Shook, Dick and Mizurek. So that's a good stop from Hugh Haycock. Probably a good decision. Clean air, he can push on now.
Yeah, well, I mean, just the fact that we saw him in P1 on qualifying lets me think that some clear air will be a good thing for him. He should be able to make up some track position. We'll, of course, see how it shakes out. Again, Winner very good on pit stop, so this will be quite a chess match we're about to watch. And there your leaders go. A little bit of daylight now between those three cars, particularly back to Mayer, so we'll see if anybody decides to stop as they come around this time. Looking here at Van Dormelen, and that is Dobek. He's following Bureau. this is the battle for fourth currently on the road. This corner right here is always troublesome to me. Now, mind you, all of the corners on every track are troublesome to me because I am not a good driver. But that off camber, very tough. Arnold into the pits, so he'll be the second from that lead train to dip on in. I think not a bad move here from Arnold. He was kind of lagging behind anyway. Might as well see if he can sort of throw a wrench in the works.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see where he comes out. Haycox has already gone past him. So remember how close they were when they came into the pit lane. So Haycox has come out about 2 seconds in front by the looks of it over Arnold. There is Hugh Haycox. You just see the red flashing through in the background, and thankfully for Arnold, he's just come out in front of that train of cars. There's Shook having a look up his inside. He'll have a little bit cold tires there, Josh Arnold. So Shook's going to try and go around his outside now, but he peels in front. The 36 has got a little bit of clean air, but the gap up to Hugh Haycox now lies at 3 seconds, and they were nose to tail going into the pit lane. So it seems that Hugh Haycox has got some good pace in that car, so that should worry Arabian Winner. Actually, just as I mentioned, he's actually gone wide and demolished a cone, and that's now brought Arnold right back into it. I shouldn't have said anything. Whoops.
Well, you know, I think the Haycocks, both of them, should be very familiar with this track. I'm not sure how close they are, but both originating from the UK, so probably love this track, as everyone the world over does, but particularly our English and or British and or however you choose to qualify them friends. Who's off the track there? Hard to say.
I think it was the 37 car. I couldn't quite see who that was, but that was the car on the inside. That was Jesus Rodriguez in the 37, who was just doing some groundskeeping on the inside of Sheen Curve. But he's carried on, thankfully. No damage, and all is well in that camp for now, at the very least. But back to the front, Foreign's Arabian still under severe pressure from Austin Winner. And he's going to have... they still haven't pitted yet. They're leaving this late, and I wonder, is maybe Winner watching what Arabian's doing? If he peels into pit lane, maybe he won't. He'll try to do the opposite strategy to what he's going to do. It's basically a game of cat and mouse being played here at SRF, and this is great stuff. It's a proper strategy battle. You don't really see a hell of a lot of it on the iRacing platform. It's basically sprint races. Once you bring in these sprint races with an element of pit stops, it brings a new element of excitement as to where guys are kind of going to come out relative to each other. But Hugh Haycox, that mistake might have just cost him the lead here. That small runoff into the left-hander, because he was 3 seconds in front of Arnold. Now he's got him right on his tail, so he's got some work to do now. But Dolbeck, he's still chasing down Bureau, still at the head of that train in the 108. Van Dormelen is there, Perry is there, and Ian Haycox is also there, just in the background of shot as they come through. But these guys should be pitting shortly. There is Ian Haycox. He's about 10 seconds in front of the other Haycox, and Austin Winner, I think he's done exactly what I thought he'd do. He's done the opposite to what Foreign's Arabian has done. Arabian's carried on, so Winner has come in.
Yep, that is what he's done. There we see him, so we're about to see, this should be sort of the benchmark stop. Winner very good at judging these things. As we say, everybody now into the pits. Arabian, Dobek, and Haycox out in the front, in the lead of the race, the lead on the road. None of them have pitted. Arabian, Dobek, and Ian Haycox should all be pitting shortly. There is Winner back out on track, ahead of Haycox and Arnold.
Yeah, he's judged that perfectly. Austin Winner, as usual, he's come out about 4 seconds in front of Haycox, and Haycox would have cost himself about 3 seconds with that error he made, so he could have been right on his tail, but Austin Winner has come out in front of him, as this is Bobby West in and amongst it in the 89. You've got Macarivi on his tail, you've got Rice in front, who gets a bit loose in front of him, and he'll take that position away from him, Bobby West, up the inside into the right-hander, but Rice is going to come back at him on the inside, but I think he should have the run on the way out to stay in front in the 89. The 906 trying to go up his inside, but he can't quite find that space. And Bobby West moves up to 13th place. So the gap from winner to Arabian is 22 seconds, and that is right on the bubble of the pit stops here. As in comes Foreign's Arabian. This is biggest pit stop he's going to have to make this evening. Dobek's going to come in as well, and the Ian Haycox is going to peel into the pit lane. But the gap between Haycox and winner when he came in was 26 seconds, and he came out 4 seconds in front. This is going to be as tight as they're going to get.
We will shortly see who will lead this race. You should be able to see just on the left-hand side of your screen, Arabian's car now moving its way toward the exit. Will he be in front of winner? It is going to be a battle at Paddock Bend with cold tires for Arabian. We'll see if winner is able to take advantage of those. I think he will. He's going to have a look at the inside as we head up into Druids. Winner will be the leader of this race. Nothing Arabian could do there. I don't think, Jack, just on those cold tires. Excuse me, slightly colder car coming out of the pits there. I'm sure he didn't take tires, so not cold tires, but still just a little bit cooled down coming out of the pits. And winner is going to lead this race, and a pretty big gap back to Haycox and Arnold, whom we just saw on the rear of our screen there.
Yeah, so that was really great stuff from Austin Winner. Arabian, he parked it on the apex of Paddock Hill on the curb, but he compromised his exit. But this is not over, because here comes Foreign's Arabian. He's going to bump draft him down the straight. Look at that, how close they are into the right-hander. Foreign's Arabian, he's called that strategy perfect as well, and he's come out identical to where they were going in. So they have called it perfectly. They both had perfect pit stops. Now it's a sprint race to the end between these two, because we're going to have 8 minutes to go shortly. Not long left in this race, so these guys have got similar pace. Arabians wouldn't have been with them the whole way through, but this is going to be very intriguing to watch now. Can Austin Winner, can he open the gap enough to stay away from Arabian? But it seems he might have a little bit more pace unlocked, but we'll have to wait and see. Arabian's given him a good run this evening. It'd be nice to see him on the top step.
Yeah, it would, particularly since we haven't seen too much of Arabian. He, just gotten busy with his life. I'm sure these things do happen. As important as that race report Weekend Warriors is, it is not the most important thing in everybody's life. A little bit of a slide from winner there as he heads down through Paddock Bend, getting everything he can out of this car. You wonder if Arabian will have a look into Druids. He does not, so he stays behind. So we should have. There's a decent amount of racing left to go, Jack. We're at just about to tick over 33 minutes of a 40-minute race, so it is by no means over, this battle between Arabian and winner. But quickly, let's look rearward down the timing tower. It looks like Antonio Race there in the number 906 machine is leading the Masters, followed by Murakami in the 901. That is Macarabi there, just having a look at the outside of Race's car. Race's got one of the better liveries on the grid, if you ask me. There's Murakami. And third in Masters is gonna be, let's see, mathematics. It's gonna be Stevie Ray. That was Shook, I think, just having a little bit of an incident there in the rear. A new livery for Stevie Ray. That is the RaceVoice livery. Looking good, Stevie Ray. Looking good, buddy. Thank you for all your hard work in the 911 machine. Stevie Ray, everybody. And let's see, Spec 2. I think we're gonna look at Shook having a little incident here. Yes, he's going to have a little wheel dip. And he's going to put on a little drifting show for us. Wisely taking it easy there. Shook, very easy to get into the wall there on the grass. Let's see, Spec 2. So, Spec 2 leader, I think, is going to be Shook. No, it's Pereira, followed by Shook, followed by Mizrek, I believe. So Shook will hang on to his P3 positioning. Pereira might have got around him during that moment. Oh dear, there's a car around. That looked like the number 15 machine. Not sure who's piloting that car. Kip Stevens.
Yeah, and that's another wheel dip. Oh dear. Oh, how did he not collect anyone there? Around there. Now that's a really awkward place to try and do a 3-point turn to get back going again for Kip Stevens. But the wheel dips are a problem when you're trying to race around here. But these guys, Austin Winner cannot shake Forest Arabian off the back of him. Arabian's still in the draft, and he's sticking with him, but Arabian's running out of time. But at the same time, look at Haycox. He's reeling them in quite fast. That gap's come down to 2 seconds, which is 1.7 up to the back of Arabian. He's the fastest man on the circuit right now, so he could very, very realistically catch these guys by the end of the race, should they start scrapping even harder. So this could be a proper grandstand finish to this race at Brands Hatch, with about just under 5 minutes to go. This is going to be a great end to this race, but it's Austin Winner at the front, Forest Arabian second, Hugh Haycox in third, Josh Arnold runs fourth, so he's about 3 seconds behind these guys. But this is a tantalizing prospect, a 3-car fight for the win, with 4 and a bit minutes left in this race. You've got Henrik Kamara, who is just in the 104. He's chasing after Ian Haycox as they come down the front straight for the 22nd time of asking. And these guys fighting for position. You've got Razki and Bobby West, who's in 11th place right now. He's just on the cusp of the top 10 in the 89, so made good progress there. Did Bobby West, and he's trying to get past the 64 car of Razki in front, with this train being led by the 35 of Ian Haycox, who's hanging on for dear life as he tries to hang on to what would be 8th place. Kamara's in 9th, Razki in P10, trying to fend off Bobby West, but there's just about 3.5 minutes left to go. Gap in front is about half a second, but you can visibly see Haycox is flying up to the back of him there.
He really is, and he's running, his last lap was a 140.05, excuse me, 140.13 versus 147-ish for Winner and Arabian, so he's really closing that gap down. Just about to get into touching range there. He'll shortly be within drafting range for sure, Will Haycox, so we're going to have quite a finish to this race, and I'm thrilled to see what happens to these guys. Haycox putting on the drive of his life here today.
Yeah, he certainly is, and he's basically in the draft now of Forest Arabian. So those couple of laps from Hugh Haycox, oh, a bit of a loose moment for Forest Arabian on the way out of the last corner. That could give an opportunity actually to Hugh Haycox. He's got a massive run out of the last corner. One mistake was all it took. Outside line for Paddock Hill comes Hugh Haycox on the outside. Lap traffic on the inside. Fastest lap for Haycox in a 39.8, and he takes second place. And that was pure momentum loss for Forest Arabian, that lost him second place. But now it's all up to Hugh Haycox, who's going to chase after Austin Winner. There's not long left in this race. We could just have 2 laps left, including this one, when we cross the line next time. So not long left in this race, but the gap opens out to about a second now in favor of Austin Winner as they come down the hill now. Bobby West up to 11th place, up to 10th place now. You can see Miro Krasky is trying to fend him off in the 64 car, but it's still Ian Haycox at the front of that train as he tries to hold on to 8th place, with Bobby West into the top 10 now with a chance at P9, which would not be a bad result for him in the slightest. But it seems like this is going to be a grandstand finish. Austin Winner, Hugh Haycox, Forest Arabian for the win. There probably will just be, probably the white flag next time across the line. So Austin Winner, could it be another win under his belt, or can Hugh Haycox put a spanner in the works? Oh, that's wide from Austin Winner that time on the grass dipping on the outside of Sheen Curve. He's going to have the draft now with Hugh Haycox. I'd settle in for this one, guys. There's 1 minute to go in this race. White flag across the line next time. Round 6 of the Weekend Warriors race here at Brands Hatch, and it's Haycox versus Winner. Arabian's on the way into pit lane. He may have an issue there. He might not have taken enough fuel, but here we go. It's the last lap of the race here at Brands Hatch. Here comes Haycox with the run towards Paddock Hill Bend. Not enough to get alongside. Through Paddock Hill for the last time. Down Pilgrim's Drop, up Pilgrim's Rise. Good run for Haycox up towards Druids. He looks to the inside line. Winner leaves in the room on the outside, but Haycox is up the inside. Karting line for him. He takes the lead. Down the hill they come for the last time, side by side. They go down the hill, 34 versus 33, round the left-hander, but Winner's better through that corner. He goes to the inside again as they come round sector number 1 for the last time. Inside line for Winner this time, and he retakes it as they head down the hill. back up they go again. Haycox will have the draft down towards the right-hander. This is fabulous racing between these two. They go side by side down the hill for the last time here at Brands Hatch, and Haycox will draft his way back past again. 3 lead changes in 1 lap as they come through the right-handers again. It's Haycox with the advantage. Winner's still not out of this yet. The timer ticks over, the 40 minutes gone. Round the right-hander they go again for the final time. Hugh Haycox with the advantage, but this is not over till they get across the checkered flag. It will be Haycox who leads up into Sheen Curve. Winner, does he have enough in the tank to go for a last opportunity? Here up through Sheen they go, down towards Stirling they will come for the final time of asking. It's Hugh Haycox with the advantage, but Winner gets a good run as they head towards the last corner. It will be a run for the line literally between these two. But as they come towards the final corner, it's Hugh Haycox in the lead for now, but Winner has the run as they come round the last corner. The checkered flag waves for them, and it will wave for Hugh Haycox, who will win by the skin of his teeth at Brands Hatch. It's Austin Winner in P2, and Josh Arnold will get across the line in P3 with Arabian having miscalculated his fuel. But once again, a grandstand finish in SRF Weekend Warriors, and Hugh Haycox gets one over on Austin Winner.
Fantastic finish. One does not put on Ayrton Senna's helmet lightly, do they? And Haycox certainly earned it today. I believe Race will be next across the line. There he is in the 906 machine. He will take the win today in the Masters competition, followed by Murakami, and not sure who's next. It very well could be Stevie Ray. And in Spec 2 today, our winner will be once again Jean Pereira. He crosses the finish line. There he is. Well done, Pereira, followed by Shook, who had an interesting race, and Mayer, who had certainly an interesting race, but finishing up there in 3rd in Spec 2. There he is in the 312 machine, and there is Mayer in the 308. What a final series of laps that was, Jack. Thank you so much for calling that. There was no way you were going to let it go. It was too exciting to stop talking about it.
I know. I mean, out of breath. They never gave in. They just, as soon as they swap position, they just swap back again, as if they certainly were enjoying it out there. It seems between those two, but great racing, fair racing as well. I think is the point there as well. So good stuff from those two. We're just waiting for the last few cars to come across the line. If Flores and Gradwell are going to cross the line there, and or Jackson Flores, sorry, then Gradwell, Bradshaw, Bernardo, and a few others who've already crossed the line. Just the last few who are on the lead lap, waiting for those to cross the start-finish line. But I think Josh Arnold will be happy with 3rd, considering the a few scary moments he had. But he's managed to get across the line for 3rd place. I'm wondering what happened to Arabian, whether he had a drive-through or he miscalculated his fuel. It could well have been either one, as the Demo Derby starts, as tradition states. But it's a shame for Arabian, because it could have been a drive-through or it could have been a miscalculation on the fuel by just a couple of litres. But there is your official results. That's how close it was across the line. Hugh Haycox by literally a 1/10 of a second over Josh Arnold. Then Michael Dobek, Dominique Bureau, Tim van Durmelen, Ian Haycox, Bobby West, Miro Horaski, and Henrik Kamara are your top 10. Then Jerry McAreevy, Jason Perry, Antonio Rice, Florence Arabian down in 14th. Considering his race, he'll think he'll be disappointed. Daniel Sadro, Chris Murakami, Jörg Mani, and Samuel Dick in 18th spot. Then further down, you have Jean Pereira, Nico Schuck, Juraj Zorek on his debut, we believe, Stephen Elson, Simon Meyer, Peter Mizarek, Jim McGill, Jeremy Lewis, Ian Gibson, and David Boom. As we carry on with this massive grid, Yuri Cox, Paolo Breme, Thomas Renders, Jeff Fritcher, Mick Carr, Bob Kern, Paul Jackson, Joshua Flores, Tom Gradwell, and Adam Bradshaw. All these guys still on the lead lap. Then we come to the first drivers who were lapped: Ed Doherty, Sergei Aksentiev, Jesus Rodriguez, Kenneth Badley, Johan Butenga, Gary Walbolt, Stephen Mitchell, and the organizer Steve Ray in 47th. Kip Stevens, who we saw having a bit of an excursion off the road. Then Jos Simpkins, Ian Wilson, Paul Barbusa, and Jeff Jacobson in 52nd place. So probably some of those guys non-finishers in this race at the end. But fabulous end to another great race, and that, I believe, marks the halfway point of the season as well.
It does indeed. Hard to believe half the season has gone by. We do have just a few moments. It looks like we've got some drivers waiting here. Let's quickly let's quickly drag Austin Winter in here. We only have a minute or two. Austin, what a race out there. We're absolutely beside ourselves at that finish. How are you feeling?
A little disappointed. I don't know what it was, but it seemed like I didn't have the straight line speed that Hugh and Forens had, so it just seemed like they could drive away from me, even though I was in their draft.
Well, we thought that at one point in the race that it was certainly going to come down to pit stop strategy, and indeed it did. We know you're very good at those, and it looked like you had the advantage, but Haycock's just clawed you back.
Yeah, I don't know if I, overrevved my engine or something, lost some horsepower, but there was no straight line speed, and he could chew into us, and I think Forens under fueled. He had to take another pit stop or something at the end, so just gave it to Hugh. I mean, he earned it. He's fast. He was eating into us. He set the pole time.
Yeah, well, what a battle. I think you guys changed for the lead 3, maybe 4 times on that last lap. So, speaking as a fan, that's what I'm here for, just to see that racing take place.
Yeah, it's always fun to race. I think a few seasons ago, we used to just follow a train from the leader and only race at the end. But now it seems like we're racing all race long, and it's way more fun.
Well, we can't wait to see you next time. I'm going to let you go just so we can get to somebody else really quickly, but congratulations on your second place today, Austin Winter.
Thank you.
Quickly, guys, I know we're sort of getting down on time, but quickly, I just wanted to say congratulations once again to Jean Pereira on your win today. How are you feeling, sir?
Thank you very much. It's tough. I'm tired.
Yeah, I bet. So an exhausting track out there, but you've once again come out on top. You're putting together quite a streak now. This is, 3 races in a row?
Yeah, feeling good. I'm practicing a lot, and I guess it's just practicing.
Yeah. Well, that does help. Okay, well, sorry to keep it short, but we are running out of time a little bit. Jean, I just wanted to say, I just wanted to bring you on again and say congratulations for another win.
Thank you very much. We had a great race, everybody.
Absolutely. Well, there they go, guys. As I say, we are a little bit running out of time, unless I am mistaken. But what a battle it was on track. Sorry? Oh. Well, I'm hearing from my producer that we do have a little bit of time. I don't know if you guys can hear him or not, but I hear him in my ear like a ghost a little bit. I think he's haunting me. But I tell you who's not haunting me. It's you, Haycocks. Congratulations on your drive today. How are you feeling?
Well, exhausted, I think. Thanks, though.
I'll say. Yeah, so we just talked to Austin really quickly, but we're just looking here at a shot of your Ayrton Senna helmet livery, and I was just saying you really earned that livery today.
Thanks. Yeah, I had to push a bit at the end.
Well, I was delighted to see you on pole, first of all, just to see a little bit of a shakeup at the front of the field. And then you really took the fight to the front.
Yeah. I knew I had to, because Austin is really quick, and if he got away from us, there was no way I was going to catch him. But in the end, I did manage to catch both of them in the closing stages, which I'm amazed about.
Yeah, so what was going through your mind in terms of pit strategy when you guys had a train of 4 and you're swapping back and forth all race long, just really trading blows for all the race, but the pit stop is looming in your mind. So what were you thinking?
Well, I saw we were going slightly slow because we were battling, and I was hoping the 3 of them would continue battling. I think they didn't in the end. I'm not sure. I'd have to watch replay. But I saw the traffic coming, the lap cars, and I thought I might as well pit as early as possible and avoid that lot. So I came out in clear air and made a slight mistake, which was a shame, but managed to make up the time. So good all in all, I guess.
Yeah, well, Winter's usually so good with the pit stops, but then when Jack and I saw you pit first, Jack was saying, well, he's got some clear air, and we know you're fast here in this car on this track because you had the pole in qualifying. So we figured, you'll really be able to make up some ground.
Yeah, turns out I could. Put two fastest laps in at the end there. I managed to catch them.
Yeah, it was unbelievable to see you claw them back. We just talked to Winter about that a second ago, but you came out with, I think, something like 3 seconds after the pit stops were done when Winter came out from his pit stop. And I think a lot of people would have said, to themselves, okay, well, that's it. It's over, but you managed to draw that back.
Yeah, I don't know. I when I have someone right on my tail, I drive slower than if I'm on my own. And I knew Forsen was right on Austin, so I thought, well, I might as well push as hard as I can, and he might be a tiny bit slower because of that. And I think he was, because he started to get quicker as soon as when Forsen dropped off the back of him after a mistake, I think.
Interesting. Well, what a show you guys put on. I'm so pleased to see you take the win today, a pole and then the win. You got to be absolutely pleased with that.
Yeah, I mean, you can't do much better than that, can you?
No, I don't think you can at all. Well, thanks for stopping in to talk to us, Hugh. We appreciate it, and congratulations on your win today. I cannot wait to see you at the top of the timing tower in races in the future as well.
Thanks, yeah, thanks for putting on the broadcast.
You bet. Well, guys, what a race it was. Jack, I could probably have let you do one of those interviews, but I got confused about the time, so accept my apologies, won't you?
It's absolutely. I got to relax for a little bit. It's all right. Yeah. As well, just to say that he couldn't get more perfect. Actually, he could. He got the fast slap as well. So he got they got the trio, got absolutely everything perfect. Hugh Aycock. So I think he can celebrate. So he can take solace from the fact that he has his Senna helmet on, and he's definitely earned it.
Yeah, no questions about that. I think they're going to have to change the name of the circuit to Brands Haycocks. We'll look for that next week. We hope you will join us yet again next week for round 7. This has been SRF Weekend Warriors presented by RaceVoice live on Apex Racing TV. I've been Jim Hodson, joined by Jack Kanan, and of course our producer Jonathan Grabowski. I can't wait to see you again for round 7.